What's up, guys? So Hunter's out helping Nina find her way out of the parking garage. And as for us, we're going to go ahead and get started with our next topic, which I basically just wanted to leave open to a really just broad discussion of video games. What have you guys been playing lately? We're also joined by our producer, Ryan Fick.
Yay.
Saying what's up.
You like me today?
Yeah, I'm going to be nice.
Okay, that sounds great. I'm looking forward to that.
But yeah, so as far as 2019 has been concerned, guys, and heading into 2020, are there any games you guys have been playing? Any games you guys are really looking forward to playing?
Well, the rumor on the street is there's a new Crash Bandicoot game that's going to be
What?
coming out.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I bought the original Crash Bandicoot remastered. Shit was hard,
yeah,
though.
so that came out the same time as Spyro did, and Spyro sold like a lot more copies. And so they put off, the rumor is they put off the idea of doing it, and then they just came out with the remastered version of Crash Team Racing, which has outsold all the Spyro games combined. So the rumor on the street is in the next couple months they're going to be announcing a brand new game.
That makes sense. I honestly didn't expect Spyro Remastered to perform as well as they were probably hoping it would.
No, Spyro did amazing.
Oh,
Crash
really?
didn't do good at all.
Wait, you mean the original Crash Bandicoot, like the Insane Trilogy?
The remastered version of
Really?
Spyro sold way more copies.
Really?
Yeah,
That
but
surprises me.
now since like the Crash Team Racing game is performing so well, there's the rumor on the street is a brand new like adventure story game is coming out.
That sounds cool. So like not a remaster, a totally
a brand new game.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
cool. I'm excited for that.
I hope that's
sounds
real
great.
because I will be so down.
As far as 2020 for me is concerned, I'm looking forward to the most for sure Cyberpunk 2077. You guys heard anything about that game?
It looks breathtaking.
It
Honestly,
I'm not even
so...
sure if a PS4 will be able to run the game. They might have to wait till PS5 comes out to release
Didn't
that.
it get delayed recently?
Again.
Yeah. It's like at the end of the year now.
I think it was
so
originally like when
April.
they originally announced it. I think it was supposed to come out around E3 2019, and it's been just pushed back consequently to where we don't even know when it's going to be releasing, even if it's going to be 2020. But I mean, that game just looks so fucking cool.
I know.
dude.
I'm so excited for it.
I mean, literally, what was so cool is how they were able to build up so much hype for that game and how cool it looked, and then all of a sudden they throw in fucking Keanu Reeves. They're like, hey, if this game wasn't cool enough for you already, we got fucking Keanu Reeves in this bitch playing some rock star in the future, and he's gonna be your sidekick or he's gonna be your mentor, whatever role it is he plays. I mean, that's just so radical. That's so cool. The concept is also that like humans at that point in the future are like half man, natural, and half machine. So how that's gonna play into it should be really interesting. There's a lot of different cool things they could do with that. Sin City, I mean, it looks huge. All the NPCs are relatively interactable. I'm really excited for that game. I hope a huge part of a game like that for me is going to be its story. And even though there's going to be a lot more that'll interest me than its story, I really hope they're able to concoct a strong story for that game because I feel like that would do that setting, that futuristic setting, a lot of justice. What about you, Ryan? What you looking forward to 2020?
Besides Cyberpunk, have you ever heard of Elden's Ring? It's like the new.
I have
It's
not.
from the new FromSoft game, like Bloodborne.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
They haven't
Okay.
had any gameplay of it. It's apparently like within the next month they're going to
What?
have gameplay of it. So I'm really excited. for
Is
that.
there any details released as to like what the premise might be or the setting or anything like that?
It's Norse mythology instead of like Sekiro was samurai,
Japanese, right.
Japanese inspired, and it's supposed to be open world, which is interesting because
Yeah.
FromSoft doesn't have any.
Right, yeah.
Stuff
I mean,
like that, kind
it's like semi-open world, but not
you
definitely.
can go where you want,
Right,
but
right.
to me is like an open field, where
like
it's
like
every
Grand Theft
direction.
Auto, Red Dead,
Yeah,
Skyrim, something along those lines.
Sekiro has like probably at the most 3 directions you can go into.
Yeah.
and choose your own path, kind of.
Although even though there's only 3 directions, you can get lost really fucking easily in that game.
Yeah.
At least for me personally, there's just so many nooks and crannies to that game. You can go back to areas in Sekiro where you've played before and find completely new areas that you didn't realize were there. Maybe because you didn't have the abilities to access them with stuff you haven't unlocked yet and stuff like that. And there's little secret passageways too, where like if you put yourself up against the wall, you like flip through them. You know what I mean?
They're called like shinobi doors or something.
Yeah,
like some weird.
Those are so cool.
Cool.
I thought Sekiro was probably, along with Outer Worlds, were my favorite games of 2019.
Really.
Sekiro was awesome. What was so cool about that compared to the other From Software games to me was that they finally threw in mobility instead of just that sluggish warrior attack dodge
yeah,
attack
like heavy
dodge.
knight
Right.
type of stuff.
The prosthetic arm allows you to do so many different unique things. I really thought that was a really awesome game. And there's a game along similar lines set in Japan called Ghost of Tsushima that's coming out this year as well. Have you heard about that?
Yes,
Allison?
it looks
No.
so fucking cool.
That's supposed to be an open world, straight up open world game. So that should be really interesting to see what they can do with that. The teaser for it, that was, I mean, if there's more of that in the game, then sign me the fuck up.
Yeah, and I'm sure there will be. Like, it will be so disappointing.
Oh yeah. From what I've heard, the combat is also incredibly satisfying in that game, which is very big for me. I mean, like, having functioning combat controls is the biggest priority, but making it satisfying, making you want to crave for that kill, that's the second part. And speaking of craving for killing, Doom Eternal is also coming out in 2020, which I am very, very, very excited about.
Have any of you guys played the Witcher games?
No.
Have you heard the
played-
rumors that there's a fourth one that is going to be coming out?
Really?
Yes.
Amid all
Probably
this Witcher
after
talk with Netflix and all
Cyberpunk,
that
right?
stuff.
Yeah, like apparently, like there's a lot of people that have been like higher up in the company that have been confirming that there will be a fourth game coming out sometime.
Oh, there has to be, because that's one of their best-selling
It's a successful.
properties.
It's a successful franchise. Who makes Witcher?
CD Projekt Red makes it.
Oh, really? It's
Yes.
the same guys who made. Well, they've been working on Cyberpunk for a long time, so it'll probably be a long time
Yeah.
before we see anything like The Witcher 4. Especially since they'd be taking it a
Well-
step up from Witcher 3, which
yeah,
was
well,
like,
apparently they've been working on it since Witcher 3.
Oh,
So
wow.
there's a lot of rumors, yeah.
oh wow.
So I have no idea.
Did you guys also see that Rockstar co-founder Dan Houser stepped down from the company? I mean, that's huge. I mean, the guy was the head writer from Grand Theft Auto 2 all the way to Grand Theft Auto 5,
there-
both of the Red Dead Redemption games, the Max Payne games.
Was there a reason, or has he not said anything?
There has not been any specific reason really released yet, but the general consensus is that he just felt it was time to move on with his life. Just that kind of simple reasoning. I mean, it's sad. You can't help but wonder if future Rockstar games are going to lose a bit of their edge because, I mean, he's the head writer. I mean, that's a really big position, and he's been doing that for their biggest games. And so you can't help but wonder if they're really going to lose a bit of their edge. But at the same time, though, I mean, Rockstar is more than capable of taking care of itself. I mean, fuck, they still get boatloads of money from Grand Theft Auto Online, and that game was released in
It's the
2013.
best-selling game.
I mean,
like,
for a reason. I was actually
especially
talking to my
online.
friends today about it. I was like, you guys know what we haven't done together in a long time? Set up a fat race in Grand Theft Auto Online. And we're all down for it. We're literally all going to be doing it later tonight, racing on Grand Theft Auto Online. It's going to be
That's
a great
so fun.
fucking
That's
time.
glorious.
It took me like three months to get good at GTA. Like I just was not able to do that.
The controls are very different, I
Yeah.
would say.
Rockstar's control model is definitely a bit weird. I would think they would have changed it with Red Dead 2. I was kind of anticipating that they would a little bit, but they didn't at all.
The aiming is just terrible, and they have the crutch where it's like the auto aim.
It's too severe. The auto aim is.
Yeah.
I love that.
If you point me in a general
Yeah, I
direction, that's
mean-
one thing. But to automatically put me on the dude's head, so I could just go L2 R2 L2 R2 L2 R2 and like just bop 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 bop.
There's probably
Just
like
makes it
some,
too easy.
Like,
That's my favorite part.
there's probably like some QA testing or something where they were like, this is probably the most fun that people have when they play this game, is just
Right.
feeling like a badass the whole time.
Just a fucking dead eye.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they were like,
To be honest, when I feel like the most badass in the Red Dead games is whenever you'd have those moments of like Mexican standoffs.
yeah.
Draw the guns and you can send like fucking like 8 bullets in them before they get one off.
Yeah, like the bounties in
Oh,
Red Dead
dude,
2,
I love
where you
those
track
missions
down
in
those
Red
people.
Dead 2.
Like the one on the, I think it's on the train where you're chasing the guy
Uh-huh.
down on the top, and you
Yeah.
like you can shoot his gun and like save him, or you can shoot him in the head or something.
I
like
didn't
that.
know you could save the guy. I've
Yeah.
killed every one of them.
There's one. I think you can shoot all of their guns out of their hands, but then there's another guy that he pulls out a second gun, and then you don't expect.
Is it Flacco? Flacco Hernandez?
Yeah, it is
that fuck
Flacco.
in the mountains.
Yeah.
I
that's
don't know.
what I'm
I'm a
thinking
big
of.
Red Dead guy. I know all the characters'
Okay.
names and everything. I love the way that mission ends as well. That mission line, I should say, whenever he like shoots him in the back, Jim Boy Calloway does, and
Oh,
you have to challenge him.
That is a name I don't remember.
But yeah, Doom Eternal is also coming out this year, guys. Did you guys play Doom 2016 at all?
I really want to. I think I'm gonna get it for my Switch though. just because
I didn't know it was on
I
Switch.
need to get more games for the Switch.
That's pretty badass, walking around playing Doom, killing demons. That sounds like a fat bet.
Might get some weird looks on the train or whatever.
Yeah, someone
if
just
I'm
looks
ever
over
on
and
a
you're like
train.
fucking stomping
On the
skulls in.
If I'm
On the
ever
train.
Yeah, I always, for whatever reason, when I think of playing games in public, it's just like someone on a train or like on a bus or something. I don't know why.
No, I totally agree.
It's like
Like,
the first
who's
thing.
gonna
I
be
think.
playing a game under a tree or something?
I'm-
They're gonna be on the way to do.
Well, probably
something.
Hunter though, if we're being honest.
You're right.
What's really been weird about the video game industry to me too recently is that there's been so many movies being adapted into series and movies and stuff like that as of lately, and it's just really weird to
Yeah.
me.
Doesn't Witcher have like a show on Netflix or a movie?
I don't know, Allison. Does it? It's not like the biggest show on Netflix right
Oh
now.
my god, she played that off so good. I was like, you don't
What?
know.
I mean, I want to be an actress,
Oh
so
my god, shut the fuck
Good
up.
practice. Yeah.
I
But
binge watched that. For
I think it kind of started with the there's Resident Evil movies that already exist. Speaking of Resident
They're
Evil,
guilty pleasures.
there's talk of a Resident Evil show coming alive, which that sounds more interesting than any attempt at a Resident Evil movie, in my opinion. Even though the Resident Evil universe has become kind of weird, it's so convoluted now. At the same time, I really like what they're doing with these remakes that they're doing. I think that's
They're
a
perfect.
great route to
In
go.
my opinion.
I really loved Resident Evil 7. I fucking loved that game. I thought it was awesome. It was
That-
such a different vibe, but like it had that classic RE feel to it at the same time.
If you ever are like feeling like you can't you just missing like couch co-op or something, play those games like Resident Evil 2,
Yep.
the remake, or 7, playing with your buddies or
Yep,
a significant other,
absolutely.
and you will have a blast. It's so
Unless
fun.
they're too scared to do it, because
Yeah.
at my apartment, literally almost every time I try to get that done, most people were like I can't move, like I don't want to go forward in this hallway.
Yeah.
Like especially the way RE7 starts out, it starts out rough, dude. That shit is scary, especially when they did VR for it. Did you guys see that? Did you guys ever play Resident Evil 7 VR?
I really want to.
It is so well
I
done.
played it here at UC like 2 years ago. They had a demo version
Dude,
that we played for a video game class, and it was so fucking fun.
It's so well done, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, like seriously, it looks just like it is whenever you're playing it normally, and you are in that bitch.
Yeah, VR is about to get really fucking crazy,
Yeah,
I think. And
it
it's going to
is.
change video games and movies. Like, it's going to change the game.
I'm not sure how to feel about VR. Of course, I can't deny it's fucking rad. It's really cool. I can't deny that if I wanted to, but at the same time, I actually do genuinely have like that fear of like people getting a bit too into it, that sort of thing, and like just like, of course it wouldn't be really any time in the near future, but just I could totally see if that really gets as advanced as it is capable of getting advanced to, people like losing their lives and that sort of thing, to where all they really want to do is just be in virtual reality instead of the reality we actually live in.
Allison, what
Yeah.
is that anime that is basically about that? Do you know what I'm
Everything.
talking about? Well, there's like different levels. It's like they get trapped into the VR world. I can't remember the.
There's Ready Player One, the Steven Spielberg movie.
Yeah, don't talk about that one.
That's no,
No.
honey.
Sweet.
No.
I'm not an anime guy, okay?
Consuela, no.
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 No. No.
My friend Tim is watching and kill me because I don't know the name of it, but. Oh, well.
It is VR based though.
Yeah, like the creator of the world is like he lives in it or something, and they trap everyone in there. Allison, I'm disappointed.
No, wait.
You could
There's
definitely.
a lot.
Anime.
There's like a lot of
It's
different
like
ones.
it
so
came.
I
It
don't
was really
know.
popular like 2 years ago.
Wait,
I
there's
think-
a Black Mirror episode almost like identical to that.
I think that'd be an interesting twist, like way to study like a god complex sort of like thing, you know, where like, I mean, like literally with the virtual reality, like you are the god in many ways. You know what I mean? If you're setting the rules of that universe.
Do you like if I said some names, like would it jog your memory?
Absolutely.
There's one. Ghost in the Shell was on.
Well, that's good. But
There's one called Log Horizon.
no. Mm-mm.
What's it called?
Oh, Hunter's joining us now.
Oh.
Wait, it's called Log Horizon, huh? That's an interesting name.
no.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I was terrified to say that. Batum.
Mm-mm.
I don't know. Those are like the top
You
ones.
know what,
that are-
Allison? I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't give a fuck about your animation shows. Okay, your anime, your funny little
animation.
anime.
Wait, Sword
Sword Online, Sword
Art
Art Online. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
We were
my-
they were you guys
Cade
were just
just
talking
told
about
me he's
Sword.
listening, and he said it's Sword Online. He's
Sword
talking
Art
about
Online.
it.
shout out
Wait,
to
who-
Cade.
Yeah, thank you so much. God.
Just out of curiosity, so as far as 2019 was concerned, Madison, did you have any favorites this year as far as video games?
Video games? Oh my god. New video games that came out. You kind of put me on the spot.
No problem. I'll let you think about it for a little
Okay,
bit.
I will.
As far as me, we already talked about Sekiro a little bit, but for me, my favorite game of the year was Outer Worlds. I'm a fiend for open world games. Red Dead 2 is also up there for me, but I enjoy both Sekiro and Outer Worlds more, I would say. Outer Worlds was the first open world game Obsidian had made since Fallout New Vegas. And I mean that's just an open world classic, and Outer Worlds has such a similar vibe, that classic like Fallout kind of vibe. And it is just Hunter, you played it for yourself, right? The art direction of that game is just insane.
No, the cool thing about Outer Worlds was it is an indie game.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
That's fucking mind-boggling to me. Like because like that was something I kept thinking about while playing through it. Is that this game was indie based, and
Yeah.
you don't usually see that level of polish on there. I know there's like some mixed opinions about the game, but I think it's a good game.
Absolutely.
I think the game rules.
For me, one of my favorite parts of the game is the dialogue. I think the dialogue is just so well performed, as well as just so well written. It's hilarious.
The dialogue
it's-
is some of the best.
It's
I've ever
hilarious.
seen, where everyone is like, they're basically like in a cult where they just obsess about.
I think it's
The
obvious.
corporation that they
Yeah.
work for, and like anyone who's unemployed is the biggest piece of scum ever.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think it's all just hilarious. Even whenever you did you ever get to the point where like you run into the chancellors and stuff like that? Oh my god, dude, the way they talk.
Tell me about it.
Oh, it's so funny. Like you get to like one of the final missions, and the high ruling chancellor just like he's talking about this invention that he made that you can't possibly defeat and stuff like that. And then your guy just has the ability to say like oh yeah, I already passed it. She was worth nothing. Even though you haven't already played it, you could just forge these lies and stuff like that just to piss this guy off.
Yeah.
And like it's just that kind of mindset that makes the game so funny to me. And literally at the end of the game, this game had me bust out in tears at one point, because towards that final mission, I'm not going to ruin too much, but you take charge of this ship called the Last Hope, and your computer aiding system, Ada, says, I can direct you to where we need to go. And then you have the it's something like that. And you have the option. She's like, okay, you can be like, okay, Ada, take us there, or you can be like, you know what? No, Ada, I can do this myself. And so when you say that, she's like, are you sure? This seems like a very idiotic error to make. And you're like, no, I'm gonna do it. And then the actual ship's computer system comes online, and it starts talking to your computer system. Is like, is your host genuinely considering flying this ship to this location? Yes. Does he realize this will result in many fatalities? Yes.
I think it's weird that none of you have talked about the best game of 2019, which is clearly the Goose Game. First of all,
Untitled Goose Game.
Untitled Goose Game is Metal Gear with birds.
Oh my God.
It's the best game. It's the best.
As
That
far
really is a hunter game, I have to
as
say.
for
That
That's-
game, you can be a goose. You can be a goose.
The Goose Game is stupid. Shut up.
Yo, dude, have you played it?
No,
Yo,
bitch,
dude.
I'm not gonna
It-
play
it is
This
really
mic thing
funny.
is not gonna work out.
No, look at it. So we can share a mic like this. That way I want all of us to be on. No, dude, Untitled Goose, it actually is. It's a relatively inexpensive game, another indie game I love, and I think it's one of the best fun games of 2019.
I will
fucking love that game.
I will definitely give Untitled Goose Game credits for originality, because I would say the first game to ever do that sort of thing was Goat Simulator, as far as just taking a random animal and like
That was
making a
free.
game about it.
animal.
That was free
Right.
on PlayStation
And
Plus
then-
like
and
last
then-
month, and I was
yeah.
like, oh
And
my
so
God.
as far as just making a game about a funny animal like that, it wasn't original in that sense. But then you see what they did with it. The idea of it, it's so creative.
But the Goose Game,
Yeah.
it really
It's
is
very
just like,
different.
It does remind me of like an homage to Metal Gear, though. How you're just squawking around these little backyards, and the mission is like steal a rake. And it's like it's extremely fucking intense to steal the rake, man. Like I just think that was one because I thought 2019 was kind of weak for me personally. Mostly, and again, I'm not hating on the games that came out. It's just 2018 was a fucking juggernaut. You're talking about Red Dead, God of War, Spider-Man, Black Ops,
Oh my
Super
God,
Smash Brothers
Spider-Man.
Don't get us
Ultimate.
started on God of War.
I mean, Smash. I mean, like
If
it's
we
just,
want to talk about God of War,
I mean,
We'll
yeah.
talk
I'm
about
just saying
God
it's
of War.
crazy. And by the
We'll
way,
talk about God
and by
of
the way,
War.
the anime you were talking about, I think, is Sword Art.
We
Yeah,
already talked
You said
about
that.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
sitting in. I don't fucking know.
You are.
But I'm just saying,
That's when
like,
Cade.
oh yeah,
said it.
her boyfriend was like, it's Sword Art. How did they not know that?
Cade, you're the best.
Yeah, that's
Just
right.
saying.
He is.
But you know,
He knows his shit.
You got-
Okay,
I
have
feel-
him on here. He'll talk about video games for 10 years. Honestly, like I'm not even kidding. That's all he talks about with me sometimes. And I'm like, okay, thank you.
and before I said in, were you guys talking about games that you're excited for 2020? Was that-
Yes.
Yeah, Hunter,
No,
what is
so I
your-
have one that. Sorry, I don't know.
No,
why
go
I
ahead.
did that.
what your favorite of 2019, Madison?
Or the most anticipated 2020?
No, why is my eye keep
You're
twitching?
okay.
Sorry. My favorite of the year. I never played it, but I watched Cade play it for a lot because
What's that?
that's the new Star Wars game that
Mm.
came
Oh
out.
really?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I-
Fallen Order was really good.
Dude,
It was
I
really
lasted
good.
2 hours and got bored.
You see, that's just because you're a fuck. That's just because you're a critical
No,
fuck.
and the thing
Yeah.
is- no, and-
Hunter literally just sucks. So
I think my problem, because the game's good. I feel like it's weird that it didn't get a nomination for Game of the Year. I know there's a timeline thing. Like the game, using the lightsaber is satisfying. It's fun, but like
So fun.
I played Bloodborne for the first time the other night with Ryan. 5 minutes of that game was better than my 2 hours in Star Wars. So I'm just like, I don't.
I
Sorry, not
love
sorry.
it. It's so.
I know
pretty.
it's great. The music is
love
great. The
watching
characters
it.
are great. I just don't. I don't
the
know.
the music of Fallen Order is very good.
It's just-
Maybe
and
watching
I
it
will
is
say that
better.
it is absolutely a better
playing it's
Jedi-based
fun.
game than I
It's-
ever thought
it's one of
EA
the best
would be
Star Wars
capable of
games.
making,
It-
especially
Yeah.
with how bad they did with the
Ever.
Battlefront games, in my opinion.
Battlefront's made a comeback, by the way. Battlefront
Uh,
2 is a good game.
I'll-
Finally,
I'll give Battlefront 2 a
Finally.
try at some point, but Fallen Order was a really big surprise for me to see how well EA did with it. I thought the actor, I always forget his fucking name, the guy from
He's from
Shameless.
Shameless, yeah.
and isn't he on Gotham too?
Yeah, he's Joker in that show Gotham,
Yeah,
actually.
It's interesting.
Ian from Shameless, I can't remember the guy's name, but he did so well performing as a Jedi. He fit the character really well for me. I liked him enough to the point where, like, if they make another Star Wars film, like, I want him in there. Like
Yeah.
I want his
agree with that,
character in
and
there.
he could be in there because he looks exactly the same way. No, like the game is good. I feel like lately, and we were talking about this the other day. We have such limited time, and when it comes to playing video games, it's like it sucks that they have to have this edge. They really have to grab you and keep you coming back. Otherwise, it's like I'm not gonna play this really otherwise good game because all of us have like 9 to 5 schedules and. Video gaming is kind of difficult to get to unless you're doing bullshit like let's jump on Call of Duty or Overwatch or whatever it is.
Minecraft.
Minecraft.
Right.
Yo, yeah, no, for sure.
Minecraft.
Yeah.
Or games that
Minecraft.
or games that we love playing. Like
Yeah.
I play Breath of the Wild still. I mean, so it's just like
Yeah.
And you haven't beaten Ganon. By
no,
the way.
I refuse to beat the game because I love it too much.
Oh my gosh, that's exactly.
You are aware,
Okay,
Hunter,
so
that
yeah.
Breath of the Wild 2 is already in development.
That's not so. When I brought up a second ago, and you guys were saying, "What's your favorite game for 2020?" and I'm like, "No one's saying Zelda. It could come out.
I thought it wasn't. I thought they didn't think it was going to come out this
I
year.
doubt it will.
I
I doubt
highly
it
doubt
will,
it.
especially in such a crowded year. But Nintendo has Animal Crossing, and that's all they really have.
Oh my god.
Which is again, that's big. That's a big deal.
yeah.
That's my most anticipated.
I really don't get the Animal Crossing thing. I really don't. I really don't.
Bro, Animal Crossing. It
doesn't
doesn't
talk
talk.
what did you
Nostalgia,
play? What did you
that's
play as a
the-
child?
Was Animal Crossing, has it been around that long?
Yeah.
Yes, I had it
N64
on-
days, bro.
and I-
Yeah.
What did you play on your
I
Nintendo
had no
DS?
clue.
Yeah, that's what I played on my
I,
DS.
Cooking
I didn't
Mama.
have a DS. I had a Game Boy.
But you didn't have a DS?
No.
That shocks
And then
me.
I jumped over to PlayStation 2, and my next handheld device I ever had was a PSP. I
Oh, I had a
mean,
PSP
Fuck yeah,
too.
baby.
PSPs were all right.
They were fun. They were just that. Dude, if you had a PSP though, you're a real
Untapped potential
Yeah.
is
Ab-
the system.
Absolutely. That's the best thing to say about
Yeah.
the PSP.
It's like every
untapped
Sony
potential.
handheld ever is just.
They
Yeah.
could do it
big.
though. I mean, Nintendo managed to do it, so I don't know.
Wow.
I did anyone say that their most anticipated game was Last of Us? Because
No.
like that's
Oh my
Actually,
God,
holy
no,
shit.
we
I
didn't.
com-
Yeah, no,
I
we
completely-
totally-
I completely
Probably the
forgot to
biggest
bring
game
that
of the
up.
year.
No, well, we were
That-
talking
I
about
completely
favorite
forgot
of
to
the
bring that
year.
up.
Oh, I just
So-
heard him say like he's psyched for Cyberpunk as am I. I remember I was so bummed because this spring was about to be fucking nuts. We were about to get Last of Us, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and Cyberpunk 2077, and now none of those games are coming this month. So I'm going back into my backlog. I'm like Bloodborne, Undertale, all these games I missed out on. But dude, The Last of Us full stop is my most anticipated game.
It's gonna blow.
Yeah.
I will
It's
say,
gonna
I mean,
blow you.
if that
It's gonna
game,
blow me away.
if that game genuinely plays like that, like
Oh, that
6-minute
trailer.
trailer that they gave,
E3
if
2018
if that game is genuinely that interactive and intuitive to what you decide to do during those sequences, that will be an absolute marvel of video game making.
Yeah, 100%.
And I can't wait to see what they do with that. If they can genuinely carry that into the entire game.
I have
that.
No, go
Sorry.
ahead. We're sure.
Spider-Man and then Last of Us were like the first games I played on PlayStation, PS4.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
and I just got. my
You're
PlayStation
relatively
version.
new to the game then.
Yeah, that's
Well,
why I was
but
like,
how
I can't
blessed.
think. I know, honestly.
You just get to jump in and have all these games out
I
already.
know,
It's kind of
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
So I played Last of Us by myself. Like I played it through, and then I played it with Cade, and then we started it. And I don't think we ever finished it again.
The
but
Last of Us?
yeah.
You never finished The Last of Us?
No, I did, and
You-
then me and Cade played it
Oh,
all the way
okay.
through
I was
together.
like, holy shit.
So like it's like a movie for me. Like I
Yeah.
sit there and I could literally watch someone play it. So if it's like that again,
Yeah.
but better because
Well,
like
that's Naughty
you're gonna
Dog.
be you're
Naughty
right.
Dog's writing,
Yeah,
Neil
like-
Druckmann specifically, just is so amazing at what he does.
Yeah, like Cade just got me back on Uncharted and stuff. He gave me in the
Oh,
series.
really?
So like I'm gonna. Well, I
yeah, it was Game of
stopped
the
playing
Month.
it and I'm gonna play it again.
Trilogy.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
the trilogy was free on PlayStation. What'd you say, last month or something like that? I mean,
Last
the,
month,
the
yeah.
Uncharted remastered trilogy
yeah,
was
he
free.
just he had like the collection that had all of them. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, God, I just...
Jack and Daxter.
So, what about
We
Jack
had
and
we had the
Daxter?
guy on for that too.
Yeah, Mike
He-
Yeah.
Gassaway.
Oh, he
Mike
did do that?
Gassaway, he was part of the animation
I
for
didn't
those
know
video
that.
games
Yeah.
as well.
No, just the first game. He
Oh, yeah,
left because he
was there-
didn't like
that's
it.
Right. Yeah,
He
that's right,
didn't
just the
like it?
first
He
game.
worked on a little show called Jimmy Neutron.
Just a little show, yeah.
Back in the barnyard, no big deal.
That too.
What about Shadow of the Colossus? Do you like
The
that?
remake, I mean, that game,
Yeah, the remaster.
Yeah.
Shadow of the Colossus is definitely one of those games that'll stand the test of time just for how unique it was.
Oh, it was
As
very
far as like epic grand scale games though, even though it was not 2019, I feel like we wouldn't be doing any justice talking about video games if we don't talk about God of War.
okay. Go ahead.
Because
accept that.
Platinumed it.
I mean that game
You
is.
say
Tr-
you
is I mean,
platinumed it?
I just don't see any other way to
Platinum
describe
God
it.
of War?
Give me God of
as-
War
I
difficulty. I,
mean,
beat
it-
the Valkyrie, the last one.
You're a
Jesus.
fucking masochist.
Yeah, I hate myself, but you know.
Wasn't there a mode where like if you die, it starts the story all the way back?
I'd never heard
might
that.
have- I
That
don't know
sounds
about that.
very
but
awful. Super Mario Bros.
That might have been
84
like an
style.
update that they added in
Maybe.
later.
Oh, excuse me.
No, but, yeah,
But
I'm
I mean,
glad
like
you brought
I
that
just
up.
as far as storytelling is concerned, it's so cool how they did it to me because they moved Kratos from Greek mythology over to Norse, and the question as to how he did it is still unanswered, even though we got hints. And I personally, I would like to get some more answers to that before they jump over to what people are saying might be Egypt for the next
Or
game.
Japan.
Well, I think some
Or
of the
Japan.
most
Uh,
interesting things about that game is it's just open. You know, they don't
Right.
directly state everything to you.
What's Metroid?
Right.
It reminds me of it's just a 3D Metroidvania game because it's not quite like a sandbox. It's not quite GTA.
Not
but-
quite open world.
Yeah, but you can go back for everything. you
Kind
know?
of has a
Right.
Dark Souls structure. in a
Yeah,
way.
I would absolutely like
Which
a
does
Sekiro Dark
follow-
Souls structure.
which does follow that Metroidvania thing. I mean, I think the
And Jedi Fallen Order kind of
Yeah.
followed a similar
Yeah.
structure as well.
yeah hub world kind of style where you can
Yeah.
and yeah. I didn't mean to hate on Jedi Fallen Order. Sometimes I sound like I'm hating on things. It's just the game didn't hold my attention because I only had like an hour a day to play it, maybe 2 hours. And I'm like, I would rather be doing anything else. I'm like, I'd rather play any other game, watch any other movie, and that sucks because like everyone says such great things.
Just
about
out of
the game.
curiosity, did you guys play the original God of War games?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Even,
Well,
even Ascension.
tell me
It's the only reason why I passed Greek mythology in high school.
tell me right now that whenever you play God of War for the first time, you take Atreus, who's sick, over to Freda's house, and you have to leave to get the Blade of Chaos.
Yeah.
And you get on that canoe, and just the way that scene is shot is, in my opinion, genuinely the most beautiful, well done scene in video game history from my own personal
I love
experience.
that, yeah.
When Athena pops up, you see you finally get that confirmity, like, okay, they haven't abandoned almost everything that happened in the originals. Athena is still a part of this picture, even though she's
want more
ascended
of
to that
that.
higher form.
Yeah.
And
I want more of that.
I know.
I want-
I
I want
agree.
more- I wanna
and
peel that
the
layer back
next
more.
time they give it to you is whenever you're in hell, and
Zeus is
Zeus's
there.
head comes out of the
Yeah.
mist, dude. And it's
So
I
good.
I do hope they have a bit more infused into the next one, and just get those questions just a little bit answered. They can still leave some open. In fact, I'd prefer if they
It might,
do.
yeah, it might disappoint us if
Um,
we get answers that are kind of
ri-
lame. Like,
right.
He walked over.
Right.
He fucking left, bro. It's pretty much what happened.
Right.
He's
Yeah.
gone.
Or but I still love that Athena, who's attained that higher level of existence, is still haunting him. still a part of the picture.
She might not even be really.
I mean, even when she's on the boat, it like the camera moves around, she disappears, and then you see her like watching over you still. So it basically gives the impression that she's always been there, and she, for the rest of the game, continues to be there watching over you. And that's just even though they don't do that much, by doing it so effectively, I think that's exactly how it should have been done.
The one thing that I just remembered is in that game, the camera never breaks. It never has a cut.
Oh, yeah.
I
Nope,
just
not a single
remember
time.
that. It's such an interesting idea.
It's so cool how they did that. And
Corey,
They
that's
did
all
it better than
That was all Corey
1917.
Barlog.
I
There was-
agree. I
there was
agree.
many-
Even though it's a video game. Did you ever see the documentary Raising Kratos?
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
That you really earn an appreciation for that game when you see how Corey Barlog just rigorously, like him and his team, dedicated themselves to doing that. There were so many times where they
So
actually
many
didn't think,
hours.
they didn't think they would even be able to do it.
Right.
Raising Kratos, highly right. All of Sony's docs,
Last
really.
was Grounded is another one that's really good.
Uncharted 4's doc. I mean, I think Spider-Man might have one. I'm not sure, but like, it's really cool to see because I think developing a game might be one of the hardest things to do in these mediums that we're talking about, movies, TV, and all that. Making a game is just, you're just setting yourself up to fail, and you have to overcome that every day, and that's what's crazy to me about it. So the fact that they committed to the one shot, it's just fucking mind-boggling.
It's so cool how they did that. It's so well done as well. And so just to kind of round out the small video game discussion we had here, I'd like to ask you
Sidebar.
guys. I'd like to ask you guys, what was your most disappointing game of recent memory? And I will say, I'll go ahead and start with mine. Even though I enjoyed it more than what a lot of people say how they enjoyed it, still very much disappointed me. Death Stranding. I mean,
Really?
Hideo Kojima. I mean, he makes terrific games, and the story is still very, very interesting. I find the story gripping, enough so for me to keep playing. But in terms of the actual gameplay, I mean, it's boring.
I agree with you.
It's-
They were overselling it, in my opinion, a lot. They made it seem like it was going to be this crazy, groundbreaking type of gameplay, and it was not
right.
that at all.
The story is kind of groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Is it
but
though?
exactly like you
I feel
said.
like it's just it's just a weird anime throwing spaghetti at the wall and see what's. Because
It
to me,
just-
Well,
it's
it
like
doesn't
got a
really
ton of-
get it doesn't really get like Metal Gear craziness until the end, and then
that's what I was going to bring up.
it's a very slow start.
He went from
Yeah.
the gameplay of Phantom Pain to
Some of the
Death
best,
Stranding, which
yeah.
is just fucking walking in a horribly frustrating way.
You can definitely tell the engine similarities between Death Stranding and Metal Gear
yeah,
Phantom
they
Pain,
designed it to be similar.
and just
Way
the
it
way
moves and
that the
everything, yeah.
movement works and all that stuff. But it's just that, I mean, I do find the story to be interesting and unlike anything I've ever played in that respect. Very
I
unique.
agree with that. It's funny. It's
Um,
interesting.
I really love the fourth wall breaking in Death Stranding. I love
Yeah.
they did, even though they didn't happen to manage making walking very interesting like they intended to. The whole idea of like Norman Reedus like going to bed and like you have all that stuff to do in that area. I
Right,
find
yeah.
that to be very interesting for how boring it could have been. So yeah, not quite as bad as I thought people are saying it is, but still nonetheless very disappointing.
Mine's the same game, just because we were short on time, so I'm just gonna say fuck that game.
Ryan, same game?
Yeah, there's not many games that I was really disappointed with.
I agree.
The
That
quality
too.
of video games are just pretty damn high right
Yeah,
now.
they're
I
definitely
wasn't
shooting up.
stoked for Death Stranding. I just didn't like it. Like I don't give a fuck.
I was very excited.
There was a lot of hype. They were hyping that game up a lot.
Dude, I knew that game.
I mean, Death Stranding is what we got instead of Hideo's Silent Hill, and I mean that game was just so bound to be perfect,
PT.
man.
Is that true that game will be coming out? A new Silent Hill game will be coming out?
no.
It's
Silent
Konami
Hill
doesn't
2.
want
It
any
might be
Silent-
Silent Hill 2 remake.
Hideo Kojima and Guillermo del Toro's Silent Hill has officially been put on the shelves. There's no
But yeah, I
there's
don't
no
know.
thing.
I also thought, for me though, I did say Death Stranding. Someone just reminded me, fucking Black Ops 4 Zombies was the biggest joke of all goddamn time. As a major Zombies fan and someone who loved Black Ops 3 Zombies and all of them,
You know-
Black Ops 4 Zombies was a big dump.
I mean,
I know we got to rush, but like,
No, it's fine. It's fine. If we are going to mention Call of Duty real quick, I will actually go ahead and say that was my biggest surprise of the year. That Modern Warfare was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I'm still excited to see what they can do with it.
It's my favorite since 2.
I agree. It is my favorite since Modern Warfare 3. What it has that these Call of Duty games of the past 5 or 6 years have been lacking is that replayability. Just that ambition to want to get back on it and keep playing with your friends.
Gunfight.
It's just new enough to. It's just different enough to feel like a new game almost.
I agree. Even though they're revisiting the same universe, and the campaign was very solid. The campaign of Modern Warfare. Or wait, was there?
The
Yeah. I don't know why I thought there wasn't one for a second.
Really
but
quickly,
there was. It was
Maddie
really
and
good.
Allison, do you guys have your games? Because I know we got to get to their topics still. We haven't done that yet.
I
And we only have 30 minutes left.
No, honestly, I don't really care. Maddie can go first.
For their topic? Okay.
My topic. Are we switching that
Yeah,
quickly?
let's do
it.
Okay. My topic was just like because I recently watched Midsommar because you guys were talking about it the last time I was on here. It was kind of movies that like fucked with your head a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I had like a couple examples of like ones before that. So like Memento, I had to watch that for a screenwriting class, and then Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind with like Jim Carrey and stuff.
I haven't seen
So,
that one.
It's really good.
Memento was very disappointing to me personally, just compared to how my friends were at the time. That's a movie I need to give a rewatch because when I saw that, I was about 13 years old, and my friends that I knew just kept telling me how much they liked the movie.
Yeah,
And it was just one of those things where I was just disappointed.
Actually, I think I did I watched it in Herzog's class.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I really liked that. I don't know, because you don't even expect it. You're really confused for the whole time, like, for the most of the time, until you get the gist of it. And I don't know. I just thought, like, oh, since I watched that, let's talk about, like, you know,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Just mind-boggling, ambiguous movies.
Yeah, I want to know more. I want to know more. That's why I asked.
I have a list for this, guys.
Oh my God,
Just out of
no.
curiosity,
Here we
how did
go.
you like Midsommar?
Okay. We were talking about this before.
Yeah.
I really like the colors. I love how it was shot. The cinematography is like
I think the gore is also well done and effective in the game.
It is.
Or
It's
the game. The movie.
I don't know. I liked it, but I watched it with a group of friends. They did not like it. They're
Yeah.
the only other person that's a film like buff. I'm not even a film buff. A film lover. Was Cade, and he didn't really like it. I don't know the specific reasons, but
the biggest thing for me about that, I think the female's character has ended really well. Florence Pugh's character with the May Queen, I thought that was
Yes.
all really cool. But as far as like the giant sex thing with the guy,
yes.
that was not a very satisfying payoff at all for the movie.
No. So this is what I have to say about it. Like, there's movies that, you have a plot, and then there's movies that you have a story. So, like, I've talked about this multiple times. Like, Americans, they don't understand.
They don't.
Stop.
It's annoying.
They don't understand, like, not everything has a happy ending.
Right.
Like, and I had a person come in one of my semesters, and it was an Israeli director, and she said that none of the Israeli films have, like, happy endings or even endings at all. They just kind of end. Like, they just are like, that was a story that happened, and,
Right.
life goes on. It's very a realistic, like, approach to things.
Yeah.
So I feel like that, it did the same thing. It was just like, this fucked up shit happened, and you're going to witness it, and we're going to
Right.
make it almost beautiful in some points and stuff like that. And
I'm totally cool with not having the happy ending. In fact, I prefer films that leave an ambiguous
Yeah.
or non-happy ending.
that's what I'm talking about, like, these kind of movies that are
But
like, what?
like as far that nonetheless means that ambiguous or open-ended ending can still be done better than how they did it in Midsommar.
Oh,
you know what
I
I mean?
100% agree.
It just wasn't satisfying. It kind of felt like at some points the film was like building up to this really
Yes.
crazy thing,
Yes, we thought.
and there was no crazy thing to be found.
Yeah, after she got the, like, May Queen or whatever, or even after, this is spoiler alert, but even after people, jumped, like, you were like, oh shit, this is when, like, the horror comes in, the people are going to start
Right.
running, people are going to start getting angry. Like, the British people, they said, like, we're the only ones that knew what the fuck was going on, and they got,
Right.
terminated.
Right.
But, yeah, like, I thought it was going to take a big turn, turn into something, because you guys were talking about it. I wasn't sure if you guys, like, loved it or if it
Right.
was just specific things that you
I
liked.
definitely did not love it, and these guys did not love it either. There are just certain things that I have about the movie to praise personally. I thought the coloring and directing by
Yeah, we
Ari Aster was
didn't,
just
No, the
gorgeous.
coloring is the only good thing I will say about that movie. I
I
have
thought-
nothing.
You don't
good,
think the
no.
acting? I loved the
It wasn't
acting.
Florence
like,
Pugh did
costuming-
great in my opinion.
Costuming
That's
was
how
amazing.
costuming
I
in
thought
all
the
movies
way
are.
that the relationship
So,
between the
for me, it was
girlfriend and
just like-
boyfriend was very well done, very real, very grounded. It wasn't too good to be true romance. It wasn't down
Yeah.
in the dumps necessarily romance. It was just very real, grounded, awkward sort of romance, and I
See,
thought that was really well done.
I do want to talk about that because like that's what I really remembered you saying, and I told that to them, and they're like, "What do you mean? Like that romance was like shit. Like they fucking treat each other like shit." And I was like, "No, I think it just like it means it's real in the sense that like it's not like cheesy and lovey-dovey like
Right.
this shit. I don't know. You know? Like,
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Like it's not lovey-dovey, and the coloring we already praised. I thought the costume design was really well done for the cult as well. The makeup for that ugly pig chick was fucking awesome.
Oh, that was.
And the makeup
and what
for
is
the
that?
gore.
Like, there's a lot of like plot holes that I just
they
didn't-
could have used that character a lot
Yeah, like,
more.
what was that
there
even-
was no really even like scary scene with her. Like she just
No.
pops up out of nowhere, and you're supposed to be freaked
The
out, and you
last-
are, but it's like
The last time you really like
What
pay
happens
attention
with
to
her?
that character is when the what's his name? The black guy. He dies.
yeah,
Like that's he gets knocked in the head
Right.
because of them. So
and
yeah, and then how they don't even like realize, oh, their friend's missing, and the guy just all of a sudden is like, oh, he's my enemy now because we're trying to do the same kind of
Right,
report.
right.
Like what the fuck? Weren't
Right.
you guys like just like, oh my god, this shit's super real, and then you don't even care about
Right.
like
yeah.
it's basically a story about people being fucked up, like
I-
really fucked up.
I will say my favorite part about Midsommar is the opening of the movie.
oh yeah,
I thought, I mean, the
Yes, let's
opening
talk
was
about that.
so well done.
well,
I thought, I was like, this movie's gonna be fucked. This movie's
Yeah.
gonna be twisted,
yes,
and it's set a great tone that's just not followed through.
No, I agree. I was like, wow, this is about to be some like not like growing story, but like you're definitely gonna see this character like go through a lot of shit. Like they're not gonna. The best thing about like fiction worlds and stuff, fiction worlds, is like putting your character through hell.
Right.
And they did, but like there was no correlation between the beginning. It was just like this is the really fucked up way we're gonna make this girl want to go to this place,
Yeah.
and it was just unnecessary.
And at the end, by the end, it basically feels like all that opening scene really existed for, despite how well done and setting of the tone it was. It was just to make you sympathize with the character more.
And for some reason, they made her. I mean, also maybe when she was like on drugs or whatever, like drugs they put her
Yeah,
on, like
they did
to have her,
psilocybin
like,
really well in that
yeah,
movie
they
too.
kind of
They
like
did mushrooms so well.
like flashback and stuff. Like that was kind of like good to make her like paranoid the whole time. But then she didn't even give a fuck. Like
Right.
towards the end, she was just so gone. But I do love how like when they were on drugs, there was just like basically the whole time, but. Like there were subtle things that were happening, like the flowers were like breathing almost
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Like I loved that. Like
Yeah, they did psilocybin so good
Yeah.
in that movie.
I really liked
It's
that.
it's just one of those things that it kind of pisses me off to even talk about it, because that movie had so much potential for me,
Potential,
and it just didn't do it. Especially Ari Aster, I'm still very much looking forward to whatever he has coming up next, and hopefully he can follow through like he was unable to do with Midsommar. Although I also will say, it did put Florence Pugh on the map, who is a terrific actress.
Okay.
I think she's really good.
Yeah. I also
Have you ever seen Eraserhead, Madison? Just out of curiosity. If we're talking about movies that fuck with your head,
well,
that's your next
I
next
need to-
watch.
yeah, I need to write this down because
Can I read my list of movies?
Yes,
Oh, yeah, for
Hunter,
sure.
please go.
What was it called?
Eraserhead.
By David Lynch.
Which is a great movie. There's a bunch. I don't even need my list for some of them, and like you have some pulled up that are already great picks. Like Christopher Nolan's a great place to start, right? I think Memento, whatever you think of it, it's a movie that takes you for a ride, and it's very creative the way they reveal the story. It's out of order.
I love
Him, the tattoo element, I love that. And then
I know.
and then Inception is fucked. Then The Prestige is fucked. I think.
Interstellar is fucked.
Yeah, no, they're all movies that really mess with your head. I love that.
Oh my God,
Christopher
American
Nolan.
Psycho's on this.
Yeah,
That's
American
crazy.
Psycho has that. There's a lot of ambiguity.
wow.
I think ambiguity in movies rules. I think Shutter Island is a movie you need to watch if you want to see a movie that you don't know what you're in for and it's going to fuck with your head. Do not spoil it because I know someone's listening that has not seen it.
I'm not. That's a movie I need to watch again because I just haven't seen that in a really long
Great
time.
movie. Man, The Sixth Sense obviously is a classic one
Yeah.
for that.
M. Night will never be able to get back to that level ever again.
The Machinist.
I know.
I think people.
Very disappointed.
What the movie? You're disappointed in the movie?
No,
No, you're not.
And M. Night for
Oh,
for never
God.
being
Yeah.
able to
After that
get back to
motherfucker
that.
ruined Avatar: The Last Airbender, I'm like, you are dead to
No.
me.
the glass thing that happened, I was just like, I don't know.
yeah.
Unbreakable was a great movie.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, it's so good.
But I don't know. I didn't even see Glass because everybody was like, it fucking sucked. And I was like,
Glass was not good. Do not watch
Yeah.
it ever. Another movie that's really good is 12 Monkeys with Bruce Willis. It's a 1995 sci-fi movie, and it's fucking rad.
That's near the top of my list.
12 Monkeys, dude, the movie rules. I think Birdman is up there.
I
Bir-
love Birdman.
Birdman is like I think the best movie of the 2010s. Personally, I think there's a lot of good movies of the 2010s.
Oh my god,
but,
I have to find this one movie that I love.
Us is good if you're into that. Get Out is good. I mean, Silence of the Lambs is on here. I'm reading my list. Black Swan, Psycho obviously is a classic. 2001: A Space Odyssey, Fight Club, one of the best examples of a movie that can fuck with your head ever. Insomnia, Arrival, Primer, Nocturnal Animals. The
Arrival was
Machinist.
overrated as fuck.
No, man, I love that movie. You know why I like that movie? Because it's an alien movie where people aren't freaking the fuck out. It's a movie like, hey, let's sit down and have a conversation. But like, I think it's a cool movie. I think Ex Machina is a good A24 movie.
Never seen that.
That can really mess.
That's an A24 movie?
Yeah, one of the. Yeah,
I didn't know
yeah.
A24 has been around that long.
Mm-hmm. And then Blade Runner. I know I'm just listing off movies, but these are all good movies.
Donnie Darko.
That's on my list.
Are you talking
Donnie
about
Darko.
Blade Runner or
Okay.
Blade Runner 2049?
Well, either, but Blade Runner, the original, is usually what I would say go to first, and then yeah, the second one's fucking. I haven't. Me and Ryan, we're gonna do a watch through that movie soon, just because it's so gorgeous. And then yeah, otherwise, I mean, it's just common stuff. Like Vertigo is, I think, the best psychological thriller
Still
of all
need
time.
to see that.
Of all time. And then I think like Mulholland Drive is a classic. I think Zodiac, Prisoners, Usual Suspects is fucking amazing.
And if you
So-
haven't seen The Lighthouse, that's what you need to
Oh,
see
yeah.
next.
Okay, we're not doing that again. There's this one movie. It's a pretty old movie, and it's this guy. He thinks that like the government's out to get him, and he's like hallucinating. I can't like and the wife is like knows he's ill and something like that, and he's like seeing
North by Northwest.
and he's like seeing his like old friend that died and like this little girl, and she never aged. I watched it on Netflix like 2 years ago. I just spit.
You know what's kind of an underrated horror movie? Did you guys ever see the movie Orphan? Where
Wait.
it's a girl.
Oh.
It's like a girl who's.
You saw that coming.
Oh, I
can't.
didn't.
I
I mean,
can't.
Okay, well, we won't
I'm-
talk about it,
Oh
but
my
I
God,
saw
wait,
that
wait.
twist coming
Wait,
a
didn't-
mile
Wait,
away.
did you say you didn't?
Yeah, don't. Yeah, he hasn't
Fuck,
seen it.
I need to make sure if I'm knowing about
I,
the
I,
right
I wouldn't.
movie.
I mean, I don't really say Orphan too much in terms of its twist. I just think it's a well done horror movie. I just think the tension is pretty good. Then again, it's been like 4 years since I've seen it, so.
I mean, do you guys like watching movies like that? For me, something that got me into being a big movie nerd was watching movies that were just super fucked in, like even if they're not disturbing, like even if it's not an eraser.
It was literally a Clockwork Orange that got me
Oh,
into
yeah.
these movies, dude.
See,
movies
I
that are weird,
still
man.
have never seen that.
We'll have to watch it.
I mean,
soon.
that's.
We'll have to watch it. There's so that's.
If you like fucked movies, I mean,
I think a genuine
You could
like if we
probably
want to
organize
talk about,
a viewing of it in the
film club.
You know,
Film
through
Club.
film club.
Yeah.
Welcome, film.
And if
What,
you're looking
Clockwork?
for like terrifying, bloody,
Oh,
horrific like horror movies, Korean horror is the way to go. No one does horror like the Koreans.
you know what I will say was better than I ever thought it would be was the newer like Evil Dead remake. Did you guys ever see that?
I
I
haven't
didn't even
seen it.
know.
The,
anything
where
about
where
that.
towards the end, it's not necessarily a spoiler, but it's raining blood.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
My-
you guys should see that.
Kate told me that there was this anime, show that it's not like horror. It's more of like disgust, but like disgust, like bleh, that kind of
Attack on
shit.
Titan?
Make you
So-
cringe.
Is he talking
I
about
don't know.
Attack on Titan?
I don't know.
That movie's
I don't
that's
know
not
what-
even that disgusting though. I
No,
don't know.
it was like a TV show. There was like multiple like mini things, and one of them was like this guy just had like a shit ton of like really bad pimples on his face. I don't really know. It was, and he said like it was disgusting of how they made it look, and like just made you want to vomit. And then there was one that he's in his bedroom. Somebody like either moved out or moved into this house next door, and then through his window in his bedroom there's another window, and he can hear a voice, and it's really like disturbing or whatever. I don't know what it is. Maybe if he's listening he'll tell me what it is, but supposedly it fucked him up. He was like, I did not like it, and like yeah.
Ryan, what's the movie that fucked with your head the most? Give it to us.
On the spot.
Yes.
The first thing that comes to my mind is It, but it wasn't really scary. It's just like there's a moment that I had in the movie theater where I was adjusting my seat and my back was just drenched in sweat. Like I don't really get scared over movies.
Right.
The second
But
one didn't really do that.
I didn't like
first
the
one
The,
I
the
did.
second one was
whatever.
disappointing. Everyone knows that, but
Yeah.
the first It they made, I think, surprised just about everyone in the movie
Yeah,
theater
it
as
was-
to
It's
how
like- it's
good
like
that
a-
was done.
yeah.
Well
It's
done.
like a Steven Spielberg horror movie almost.
My,
Well,
my,
I
my,
thought-
my,
Similar.
my favorite shot of that movie is whenever Beverly like finds his cave and he like opens his stage and like starts like dancing like
Oh
this.
my God,
and,
that's-
and,
Lost
and, and
it.
it's like the still frame
Everyone
thing.
in the theater
Oh
was
my
laughing
God.
when that happened.
No, that like okay. Do you ever have like a moment like it just like you're not like scared, but it just like sends chills over your body. And you're just like you get cold almost.
There's a lot of
Yes.
those moments in
The
it.
ending of, and I'm
That's
not
what
spoiling
happened.
it, the scene in the lighthouse with Robert Pattinson where it goes, dude, my brother looked at me when we saw that movie. He goes, dude, this has to stop.
I'm so I'm so scared
we
right
gotta
now.
cut this shit out. I'm not gonna spoil it because like I don't want to, but like that is maybe one of the few times in my life where I've been like, I can't.
Like
this
I don't
needs to end right now.
Right, like I don't want to look at the screen anymore right now.
Yeah, that's how I felt with that
Genuinely.
It scene. I literally like I started like going like this, and my freaking people. I forget who watched it with me, but they were like laughing, like you said, and I was like, that is unsettling, like to the max. Like I literally need to like.
I
go
mean,
away.
I mean, like just the fact that we're a film podcast absolutely means we need to give all of our props to Bill Skarsgård for doing an amazing job as Pennywise.
He is one of the
Yeah.
best actors ever.
I
Oh
mean,
my
I mean,
God.
like seriously, like I mean, Tim Curry, all a shout out to being an OG, but Bill Skarsgård did with that character what no one else could ever do. I don't.
You know what I
think.
didn't like about it too? That little cameo that Stephen King did.
You didn't like that?
No, I
thought
did.
He
oh,
does-
oh, I thought. Yeah,
I
I
was
thought
gonna
it
say,
was
he does
funny too.
cameos in everything.
He didn't do it in the first one.
The Shining.
Yeah, I didn't do
Yeah.
The Shining. That's for
Well,
damn
that's
sure.
because he doesn't want to be associated with The Shining.
he doesn't like.
Really?
He never liked Stanley.
No,
Kubrick,
because
from
that
what I
movie
understand.
is like very loosely based off of his novel. So yeah,
Not only that, but Stephen King has also said that Jack Torrance, out of all the characters Stephen's ever written, he feels like Jack Torrance is the most like biographical of himself. So the fact that Jack Torrance is a lot different in the movie than he is in the book was
Yeah.
very unsettling to, especially like different in sort of a bad, negative way, from the book to the movie. Stephen King didn't like that at all. But Allison, let's go ahead and segue over to your topic to close things out. What do you got for us today?
we're just gonna end on a little fun note.
Little
So
fun.
people have been blowing me up with Rick and Morty fan theories of episodes.
Oh my god! All right,
So-
let's hear it.
We're going to start off with one that people claim is probably one of the highest ones to be true. Rick knows that he is the protagonist on his own TV show. So, like, the little caption is, although it doesn't happen often, if anyone breaks the fourth wall, it is always Rick.
I absolutely agree.
A theory posted by Redditor, I am not a cop, who is definitely a cop, by the way, thinks that Rick is fully aware that he is on a TV show. Throughout season 1 especially, Rick tried to coin the phrase, wubba lubba dub dub, which he often uses as a punchline as if he is on a sitcom. He's also consistently obsessed with the cable form of relaxation, which seems odd for such an active man of science. And of course, there's the peculiar group dance number from season 1 in the finale, and then they have it featured above. Plenty of people believe that this one is the highest theory to be true. What do you guys think?
I absolutely believe it is true.
I never thought about it.
I think there's really one part where I think at the end of season 1 or season 2, he's like, yeah, guys, season 3 on the way.
Nine seasons. 9 seasons.
Yeah, he's like 9 seasons, Morty.
No, he literally says, it's my series arc. I don't care about my dead family. That was fake. It's about that Szechuan sauce. It's my series arc. 9 seasons.
It's the Szechuan sauce episode, of
He
course.
100% knows he's in a TV
Yeah,
show because he's the
100%.
smartest man in the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with that
I
theory,
never
and I
thought about
love that
it.
it's in there.
Isn't it cool?
No, like I kind of like I subconsciously knew that he knew. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like I was just like, yeah, he knows. Like because he's
That's
talking
normal.
to us. Because like yeah, nobody else is doing that. And then I don't know.
But you never thought about it like
critically.
in context
I
of
was
the
never, like-
show.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, he knows that he's.
I mean,
on
like
this
it's
TV
funny too
show.
that like what Allison pointed out. There's no other character in the show
No
that
other
does
Are
anything
we
like
sure?
that.
I know in like the opening of the latest season, he's like, fuck you, Summer. You ruined season 4. You ruined
Yeah.
you ruined the season 4 premiere. Like,
Yeah, he did do that. So and they
Well,
didn't say
yeah,
anything
but that's
about
still
it.
Rick though. That's not Summer saying that.
I love that.
Yeah, and I don't. No, I can't remember if anybody else did.
But if it's in the same universe, we have to assume it is, all the amazing sponsorships, the commercials, where Morty's like, we gotta stop doing sponsorship. Like he's like, oh geez, like why you do like the fucking Hardee's
Yeah.
commercial, all the burgers come in there. He's like, you keep selling us out, Rick. You keep selling us out, like as if he knows he's on a TV show.
You're
Like,
right.
If there's anyone else that would know, it's of course Morty.
And there's a theory that Morty is Rick, but a younger version. So I'm sure she might have that, but
Oh my god.
What
and-
else you got for us,
Wait,
Allison?
one second.
What?
Me and Allison were talking about this. How sometimes, What did we?
What were we talking
I totally lost it when I looked at you and you. Oh my god.
about how they might be the same people.
No. Oh my god. Go on.
All right, what else do you got for us, Allison?
The second theory that is supposed to be like extremely high is Morty is not Rick's original Morty. In fact, it's evil Morty is the actual OG Morty.
Okay, I just remembered. It kind of links with
I
this.
love that theory.
What we were talking about before at Subway. We said that this isn't the Rick and Morty that we started off with.
No.
It's
No.
not.
No.
Oh yeah, no.
I know. Do
Definitely
you
not.
forget about that? Like sometimes I'm just
No,
like, oh fuck.
I definitely I remember that.
Yeah, they subtly make comments about it.
Yeah, we were just talking about like sometimes I'll just be watching it and be like, oh shit, this isn't even the Rick and Morty I started with. They're
yeah.
slightly different. We
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
know. Like there's some,
Well,
Mhm.
the
That's just
biggest
random, but-
example of that is Mr. Poopy Butthole. Like, I know that was the weirdest thing I've ever said on a mic. But like seriously, no. What's cool about Rick and Morty is that time passes in between the episodes, and we don't know. It doesn't even fucking matter which set we're watching. There is dimension numbers to our Rick and Morty. So like it's like C137 or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Is that it? And I know that like Rick, we often acknowledges when we're watching our correct Rick, but like to her point, why doesn't evil Morty have a Rick? Why did he invent a Rick?
Yeah.
I think it's very likely that Rick fucked up and made this evil Morty and is trying to repent.
Yeah, like
and
I can
redeem
read a
himself.
little blurb that they have. It says, in close encounters of the Rick kind, evil Rick played Rick's memories of Morty on a screen, and they included the visual of Rick picking Morty up as a baby. But the very premise of the show is that Rick's been gone for 20 years, and Morty is only 14 years old. So this is just one simple math. The Morty that Rick remembers must be the Morty from the alternate reality.
I
Wait,
love
I
that
don't-
theory.
No, wait.
And I agree.
Explain more because I got a little
Rick,
lost.
so Morty is only 14 years old,
Okay.
but Rick has been gone for,
For
20
20
years.
okay,
So
sorry, I
it's just the,
missed that.
the
So-
simple
so-
math of it
so-
is all. It has to be evil Morty
the-
is the OG
right.
Morty.
So the idea of Rick picking Morty up as a baby is a complete fallacy because
Yeah.
he wasn't around.
Right.
So I
Holy
like
shit.
that. I like that a lot because that's really like evil Morty. Like that's to think that's the OG Morty. And
Right.
he's like, you know what? Fuck Rick. and like that's exactly what anyone who has the backbone to stand their ground would feel against Rick. The only reason Morty sticks around Rick is because he's a weak guy. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have the will to say no to his grandfather, and he doesn't have the will to really stand up for himself. And then when he does, Rick kind of acknowledges it and respects it, and that would even make sense because he could know any given Morty could turn evil, like evil Morty,
Yeah.
and be capable of.
I need to see more of that because they hint at it every fucking season. They're like,
Has-
oh, here's
has-
evil
has,
Morty.
has,
And
has
I'm like,
evil Morty
give it
been
to me.
has evil Morty been involved at all in season 4 yet? No.
I don't know.
Oh.
I mean they literally close out season 3 with evil Morty.
There's no involvement in season 4 yet. We've only seen half of the season. I mean, it's likely. I think there's one season where he gets like no acknowledgement at all. Like he's only been in a
The
couple
the
he's only
first
been in a
season,
couple
I don't
episodes.
think he even exists as a
Yeah,
character yet.
maybe. It just what I love about the show is the continuity is not coincidental. Those writers are very they go through it with a fine
Meticulous.
comb, right? Yeah, they're very meticulous. And I recommend like watching wisecrack videos on YouTube, watching Rockstar, new Rockstar videos. Those are YouTube accounts that literally have millions of views just for Rick and Morty theories because they break this shit down. It's fucking fascinating.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What else? What else you got for us,
I love this.
Allison?
Oh, geez. Let's see.
Oh jeez!
Oh, jeez, Rick.
Oh jeez!
All right. While she's looking at it, who has the best Morty one? Morty impression.
Oh, jeez, Rick.
That's pretty good.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Here's Ryan. All right,
Logan, you
prepare
go.
yourself.
I have to get into acting.
Oh jeez! Oh Rick, I don't know about this one.
Oh, come on, Rick. You take us out on these adventures all the time, and sometimes I just want to, have my own adventure.
Yes, awesome.
Good job, Bri.
Another theory that's supposed to be really high is that Tammy was placed at Morty's school after the customs incident in the pilot episode. And then a little blurb is, in the customs incident, Rick uses a galactic portal to send he and Morty to their home dimension, and they land right in Morty's school. The theory assumes that the Federation was able to trace the portal to its destination, and that's where they planted a sleeper agent there, who is Tammy.
Tammy.
Tammy's the one with the short hair who fucks the bird.
Side note:
Yeah.
listening to you say that, if you don't know the show, that makes no fucking sense
I
at
said
all.
that way.
Fucks the bird.
Well, yeah, she was like, wasn't she Summer's
I
friend?
love the bird
She's the
character.
one who likes bukkake. She's the one at the
Yay.
party who's
Bird
just
man,
casually
yeah.
like, I like bukkake.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about her. But then you said fuck the bird, and I was like, oh
No.
yeah.
Canonly, he's Phoenix person now. So
Phoenix person. Oh my god.
Birdman has like one of my favorite quotes of the show, and I can't think of it right now.
What do you think about that theory though, Allison? Do you think that's true? I mean, that's probably likely.
Yeah, because why else do we have fucking Tammy on the show? She like really never. She's like only in the show every once in a while, so it's just kind of like I don't know what's the fucking point of having her there.
Yeah. What's so funny?
No.
My chair was squeaky squeak.
Oh, you see these?
Yeah.
I'm sure our audio listeners are probably just like, "What the fuck is going?" It sounds like we're running in. What I think it sounds like is when I'm listening is it sounds like we're in hamster wheels and we're running in them.
I mean, that's basically how my brain operates. So.
Holy shit, there's a theory. They say it's probably not high at all, but it's so fucking funny. Okay, so Rick's ex-wife and Morty's grandmother is Miss Frizzle from the Magic School Bus franchise.
Oh my god.
That's canon. That's definitely.
That's awesome.
It says this one's a bit out there and is based almost entirely on the fact that Rick likes redheads. And Summer has red hair. And Summer's mother does not have red hair.
Oh yeah.
Fans were reaching for a connection to any other zany redheaded scientist and found no one other than the school teacher, Miss Frizzle, who loves science just as much as Rick.
No one else other than Miss
That's
Frizzle.
I would be so happy if Rick and Morty somehow like got the licensing to use that character in their show.
Oh my god, they would make it
like
perfect.
like literally just to make some continuity stuff in there.
But fucking Garfield in the show.
I mean, shit with the shit they do in Magic School Bus, like those are definitely two universes that can be conjoined.
Yeah.
So she's
Absolutely.
really smart. She's able to shrink her school bus
Right.
to send these kids to crazy places, and who else can
Go
do
to
that? Rick.
space and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Magic School Bus was fucking wild.
It was so good.
That shit was trippy.
It was
I go in class thinking I'm
Bro.
reading Rainbow, and I got fucking Magic School Bus up on the screen. I'm like, oh, we're going in the body today, bro. We're going for a trip in the
Going
body.
in it.
Between Magic School Bus and Bill Nye the Science Guy, we
Bill.
regularly had our minds being blown as education
Yeah.
children.
It was nuts, dude.
We're going in the body today.
Also, something I want to point out about Summer's design, because you brought it up, is she's literally just Jerry with female hair.
Yeah.
That's Jerry. Like, her face is Jerry. It's the same character model.
Summer. Jerry's.
Summer.
Oh, Summer.
So there's
Oh,
they
yeah.
acknowledge it in one of the episodes where it's like that boy over there with the long hair. Like one of the aliens says that to her. They're like, and I was like, what the fuck is that line? And I looked it up. I'm like, oh, everyone thinks it's Jerry. Like, I'm like, that's so funny to me.
Jerry's probably one of my favorite characters on the show. I mean,
Oh my God.
Jerry's
Probably my favorite,
amazing.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
I mean, the guy is just such a great symbol of like failed husbands and fathers across the country that just don't say what they're actually thinking.
Jerry and Mr. Meeseeks.
Oh my
Are-
god.
Those two together.
The episode when Jerry's running from the homeless guy, like with his shopping cart, and jumps into the car.
There's
and
no
locks
time.
one of my favorite Jerry episodes is whenever they're stuck in the simulation and Jerry
my
doesn't
God.
notice that they're stuck in the
That
fucking
is my
simulation.
favorite.
Yeah.
So he literally like sets himself up for everything he encounters for the
My
day.
man,
Looking good.
the apple. Like, yes.
And he gets like the fucking Apple Award somehow. And whenever it turns out to be fake, he starts crying and shit. Oh, it's so funny.
Jerry is one of the best characters on this show. I love how they handled him in season 4, the episode where he just floats, like it has to find his way back home. Like I love that he like crashes an entire airplane full of people to get back home and like not call Rick. Like then the one where he takes a cat to Miami. Like I love it when they double down on Jerry. Like okay, we're not gonna try to really flush you out. We're just gonna give you the weirdest shit to do. I love that personally.
Do you have any more to round us out, Allison?
No.
No, that's it.
Nothing worth
All right,
saying.
bye,
No
guys.
problem.
All right, see ya.
All right, here we go.
All right. Well, that'll do it for today. Thanks for listening, guys. This was a great one from Nina, the stunt woman in training, to video games, to Rick and Morty fan theories. We had a good
Hey,
time
don't
here.
forget about my topic, okay? That was
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
yes, psychological
That's
fuckers.
my personal favorite. 'cause,
fuckers.
Like I would say if you're trying to get into those kind of movies, go to Watch Mojo's psychological thrillers or Cinefix's like psychological thriller list, because like just to get started, because there's probably like 100 movies that are worth being on that list. It's just
I mean, we could have a whole episode about psychological
Yeah.
thrillers if we really wanted to.
yeah.
So yeah, that'll wrap up today, guys. Thanks for listening. This has been AVHD Podcast. Have a great one.
No, let me play this.
That's dark. Oh, it gets darker, Morty. Welcome to the darkest year of our adventures. First thing that's different, no more Dad, Morty. He threatened to turn me into the government, so I made him and the government go away. I replaced them both as the de facto patriarch of your family and your universe.
With music.
So now you know the real reason I rescued you. I just took over the family, Morty. And if you tell your mom or sister I said any of this, I'll deny it. And they'll take my side because I'm a hero, Morty. And now you're gonna have to go and do whatever I say, Morty, forever. And I'll go out and I'll find some more of that Mulan Szechuan teriyaki dipping sauce, Morty. Because that's what this is all about, Morty. That's my one-armed man. I'm not driven by avenging my dead family, Morty. That was fake. I'm driven by finding that McNugget sauce. I want that Mulan McNugget sauce, Morty. That's my series arc, Morty. Seasons. I want my McNugget dipping sauce, Szechuan sauce, Morty. That's what's gonna take us all the way to the end, Morty. Season 9 more seasons, Morty. 9 more seasons until I get that dipping Szechuan sauce.
What, dude?
Thank you, guys.
All right. When I hear that, all I think about is Morty just laying there with his broken legs. All right, guys.
Bye,
Peace.
guys.
Thanks for listening.
All right, peace.